Hey everybody, it's Ruan here from tunnelviziontv, and today I'm going to show you guys how to use PFTrack, one of the best tracking or camera tracking software out there. And I've tried Bujo, I've played with a lot of other tracking software, and I just find PFTrack to be the most superior camera tracker out there, and I'm just going to show you guys how to use it. So I'm using PFTrack 2012, and if you open it you'll see the screen, and we're just going to create a new project. On the project screen you're going to click on create, and we're going to give it a name. I'm just going to call it tutorial, and then you're going to browse to a folder where you want to save it, and I'm just going to create a folder under my C drive video projects, and I'm going to call it tutorial. Go into the folder, click on choose, and you don't really have to worry about these settings here because the video file that you're going to import is actually going to override these settings. And then just click on confirm to confirm it. And then you can actually browse here on the side to your video file, or you can just open up your Explorer window, and I'm just going to go to my project file or my video file that I want to use, and you can just drag this into this middle window and you'll have your video file show up here. Alright, to start you just drag this video file into the node window on the side, and then just double click it to make sure you have that selected. And here at the bottom you will see all the settings for this video file. So it actually picks up the frame rate automatically. It's 25, so that's correct. Just double check all these things. And I'm not going to track the whole clip. It's actually quite long. It's about 300 frames. So let's track, let's do 200 frames. So I'm just going to set my out point to 200. So you just click there, make it 200. It will only show up the first 200 frames. And then a very important thing is your camera preset. So if you know the sensor size of your camera, you can actually save a preset. Let me just quickly show you how to do that. If you click on custom, you can actually change the settings of the sensor. And this was shot using the Canon 5D Mark II, and I know that the sensor size is 36 millimeters by 20.25 blah blah blah. So just put that in here, and now I can go save preset, and I can call this Canon 5D MK2, and then the next time you can just reuse this preset. If you don't know the size of the sensor or the camera that's been that was used to shoot the clip with, don't worry too much, but if you have the information it will give you better results in the end. Alright, so to start we're just going to right click on this first node, and we're going to click on image manipulation. Double click on that to make sure you've got it selected, and we're just going to increase the contrast. So we're going to click on color to activate that, and we're going to increase the gamma and just lower the brightness just so we get a little bit more contrast. If you toggle between that, it will just give you easier, or it will make the features easier to track. Right, so next up what you want to do is you want to right click on your image manipulation node, and we're going to click on user track, and this is where we're going to start creating user tracks to basically start the process. So first of all you can press space, and you'll see this green line going here. This will just load the clip into memory, so it will play back a little bit smoother. So let's just do that quickly. Okay, and once it's done you can scrub through it, and you will see it will actually be really smooth. Okay, so we're gonna start by creating some user tracks. This is really important because the more user tracks you add, the better your final result will be. So double click on your user track and then click on create here at the bottom, and we're just gonna zoom in using the middle mouse button and just select a point somewhere in your scene, like a high contrast point or a spot, or just something that's easy to track, maybe like this dot here. And you can resize this area, the focus area, and also the search area. And we just need to set some settings for our trackers. So here at the bottom we're gonna leave this on best accuracy, and deformation is very important. Enable rotation, scale and skew, and we're going to leave everything here default. Just enable illumination. That will help if the lighting actually changes in your scene. And we're going to set this as the default tracking settings. So you just click on set default, click it again to confirm, and then when you create new tracks, it will actually remember those settings. Alright, so make sure on the first frame, and then click on this little button here to track forward. So you can actually see it's running, and you can click the center view. It will actually keep that in the center of the screen. And here on the side it gives you the score, 98. Obviously the higher that number is, the better the track will be, and it will go off. And another thing that you can check here at the bottom, it will give you like a zoomed in preview of that track, and it will also have the score right below that or next to that, 98% currently. And if you scroll through that, you can see that is a very good track. And just before it goes off the screen, what you want to do is go to a good track, maybe that one is fine, and then you want to make sure that all tracks after that's been deleted. So we're going to click on the R plus here to remove those frames, and also H plus just to hide them if it actually created some blank keyframes there. Right, so we're going to go back to the front, we're going to zoom out again, and with the right mouse button you can click and drag. So just drag that into the middle again, and we're going to add another track. So let's try and add something here in front. Click on create, maybe zoom in there, just drag that around, make sure center view is on, and click on track forward. Okay, that's a short one. So just go and see if that's a good score. So you can actually see that last one dropped down to 87. So I'm going to take that back to around there because that's 96, higher score. And I'm going to click on R plus to remove all the frames this side, and then also H plus to hide all the frames on this side. Okay, let's zoom out again. And let's try and find something maybe more further in the background. So let's zoom in here. Maybe that spot right there. Okay, and also try not to track any trees because they tend to move around, and those are not very good tracks. Track forward, here we go. Okay, just have your eye here at the bottom. Make sure the score is good. Okay, it's looking good, 97. Still tracking nicely. And it tracked right through. Very cool track. Let's zoom out. And just a trick here. Try, as I said before, try and track some features close to the camera, middle, and also far away in the background. And that will just give you better results and more data for PFTrack to actually figure out your scene in 3D. So that will just help a lot. Alright, so let's go back to the beginning, and I'm going to zoom in here to add another track here. There we go. Make it smaller. Search area kind of like that. And track forward. Okay, this track might actually jump off. There we go. As you can see, it actually caught onto that pole there, which is not good. So I'm going to take it back. Maybe right up to about there, and I'm just going to click on the R plus to remove all those frames that side, and H plus to just hide them. Okay, cool. And let's go back to the front, just center this. Okay, maybe let's try and track something from the back. You can also do that. So if we zoom in here, we're right at the end of our clip. I'm going to create a point right there, and I'm going to track backwards. So I'm going to click on this little icon here. There we go. And it's going to go out. Okay, it's not a very good or very long track, but it should be fine. And I'm going to go to there, and this time I will click on the R minus to remove everything on this side, and then H minus to hide everything on that side. Okay, let's zoom out again, and maybe let's go to the middle of our clip somewhere around here. And let's maybe track this little house here. Create a tracker, make it a bit smaller. You'll find that it will actually go faster if you make this box smaller. Okay, and let's track this way. There we go. Looking at the score, it's looking good. 98, 97, awesome. Right to the end. And then what we can do is just drag it back to your starting frame, that gold key there. And then we can track this way. So we're going to click on this little button here. It's tracking to the left, and the score is looking good, 98, 97. Running through, and that's another cool track because it's gone straight through. So if we zoom out here, and if we scrub through, we can see that track just stays throughout the whole shot. It's always good to try and get some trackers that actually goes from the beginning right through to the end, so that's always good. Okay, let's try and track something maybe here in the middle. So let's track this one, something like that should be fine, and we're going to track backwards. Okay, there it goes off, so it's going to stop. Let's go back. You see that last frame is 87 score, not too good. So there's a 93, and I'm going to go R minus, delete those keys, H minus to hide them. All good. Okay, I think we're going to try and get about 15 to 20 tracks, user tracks. That should be good. Okay. Maybe let's get this little rock here. So let's put a tracker there. Search area, something like that. And let's track forward. So we're actually starting here in the middle. You can it doesn't really matter where you start. Just remember to track backwards as well if you can do that. And it's tracking 97 score, 95. It's looking good. It's going to go right to the end. Okay, take it back to the gold key and track backwards. Looking good. And that's another good track. Right, let's zoom out. Now, I think we need some trackers in the background still. Or let's track this little corner of this truck. So let's put a tracker there. And that should be fine. Track forward. And this one should go out. There it goes. Okay, let's just stop it. You can press escape to actually stop the tracking. And we're going to take the last one. That's kind of good. That's a good one, 96. R plus, because we want to remove everything on this side. And then H plus. All gone. Okay, so we are tracker number 9. We still need a few more. Let's see. Maybe something in the middle, maybe this log. So I'm just going to put a tracker right there. That should be fine, and let's track backwards. I don't think it's going to go out, but it's fine. There we go. And let's see, that one is good. So remove this way, hide this way. Okay, so we've got 10. Maybe let's track this house as well. So let's put a tracker right there. Try and get these trees out of the search areas because they move around. Track that way. Okay, all good. Go back and then track this way. And that's done. Okay, let's remove, hide. Okay, so we're at number 11. Let's see, where can we get more trackers? Maybe this brick here. Oops. This brick here, let's try and track that. Okay, something like that should be cool. Track backwards. It's looking good. Score is 97. And it's still running. 96, still good. Everything above 90 should be fine. Even 80 should be okay, but I usually try and keep it above 90. And that's a cool one right through. Okay, so we've got some stuff in the middle. We've got some stuff in front. Maybe this little rock here. Create, click on that, and track forward. Okay, there it goes. It's got a good score. And just try and keep your eye here as well to see if it's actually staying on that, on your feature. And this one's going to go out. There we go. Let's take it back. Maybe it's gone into the 80s here, but that should be fine. It's like 88 or 89. And let's remove trackers that way, and let's hide them. Okay, so we're on 13, few more. Let's see. maybe this little rock right there. Okay, create on that dot. That should be fine. Let's track that way first. And let's track this way. Okay, that's it. 95, that's fine. Just R minus, H minus. Okay, almost done with our user tracks. See what else. Let's track this rock here. It's a nice contrast feature. Track forward and track backwards. Looking at the score, it's looking good. 98. Okay, good track right through. 15 tracks so far. Let's see if there's anything else. It will be good. Maybe this little corner here. Yeah, let's do that one. Create and try and get the power lines out here because they're far in the background. It might cause some parallax issues there. So let's just do that. Track this way. Good score, 99. And I think it actually freaked out here at the end. You can see it actually jumped off that corner. So you can use your arrow keys on your keyboard just to run through, and that's a good track there. So remove everything after that, hide them as well. Go back to your gold key and track backwards. Okay, that's cool. 16. I think let's do one more just to be safe. So you just want to try and spread the trackers out throughout the scene. Close, nearby, middle, far. So maybe let's get these little dots here in front. And you don't really have to select one specific feature, because PFTrack will actually use patterns to track. Okay, there it goes. Okay, that's all good. And let's go this way. It's going to go out. Right there, it's jumping around. Press escape to stop it. And let's go to... that one should be fine. And remove everything before that. And hide everything before that. Alright, so that should be fine. It's 17 tracks, 17 user tracks. So your user tracks, as I said before, very important because you're actually telling PFTrack that these 17 tracks are really accurate, and if you use them you should be able to get a good solve at the end. But we're going to go a little bit further and we're going to add some auto tracks as well. Alright, so on your user track, just right click and click on auto track. Double click on that to select it, and we're just going to change some settings here at the bottom. First one is your candidate number, make it 150. So we're telling PFTrack to try and look for 150 possible tracks. Your target number, put that on 100. That's the amount of actual good tracks that you want PFTrack to accomplish. And then your window size, that's that little box. We're going to make it a little bit bigger, change it to 40. And enable illumination. It's just going to compensate for lighting changes. And then your, very important, your search mode, change that to optical flow. I just find that's the better option. Change your feature scale to large, usually works a little bit better. And then deformation, very important, rotation, scale, and skew, switch it on. And if you click on preview, it will actually show you a preview of what it will try and track. Okay, there we go. Don't really like these small tracks here at the top. Especially if they're going to try tracking the clouds, even the trees here in the background, like those tracks. I will delete all of them, but I'll show you once this is done. Okay, so once you're happy with that, you're just going to click this auto track button, and this will actually run right through the clip, and it's going to reverse back just to confirm those tracks. So I'm just going to forward through this quickly. This might take a minute or two. Alright, so the auto track actually completed, and as you can see, it created all these yellow dots and those little squiggly lines. So now I'm going to show you how to actually clean up your auto track. So basically, we will now tell PFTrack which of these tracks are good and which of them are actually bad, and delete the bad ones. So first of all, you want to untick or just disable the show paths. Those are the lines, just so you can see the dots. And also untick guides, because that's those pink dots, and that's actually the user tracks. And we know they're good, so we don't really want to see them. And then another trick is you just click on the D on the side to darken your image, so you can see the dots a little bit easier. And then a little trick that I found to actually try and figure out which of these dots are not that good is click on marquee at the bottom, and we're going to select a good track, maybe this one here, and just preview the little window here at the bottom, scrub through it, and just see if that's a good track. Alright, that's a good track. And then what you do is you click on center view at the bottom, and then you just scrub through that section of the video, looking at kind of all the dots, and see if you can see something that actually slides around or moves around, and those are the ones that you want to delete. So just do it a few times, kind of look at the ones here. I usually don't like the ones in clouds, so I'm going to select marquee, select that one, and I'm going to delete it. So press delete on your keyboard and then enter to confirm. And I'm actually going to delete all these ones in the clouds because I don't trust them. And you just want to try and figure out and eliminate all the bad tracks that you can. So here at the beginning, let's look at that tracker there. So it's on that power grid thing, so it's looking good. So I'm going to center it on that one, and it's already centered. Just move it. It's going to jump in. Alright, so there's another one in the cloud. Delete it. Let's go back to, which one was it? That one. And just look at all these other yellow dots. Let's see, anything that's kind of sliding around. Even if it's just moving slightly funny, then you want to delete it. So what I'm going to do is these ones in the trees, I'm going to delete them. Let's see what else. It's actually looking quite good. Usually I find quite a few that's kind of sliding and jumping around. Okay, here's one. If you look at the dot here where I'm circling now, if you just keep your eye on that track and I'm moving there, it's actually jumping up and down. It's not sitting on that exact spot, so that's what you're looking for. Let's delete it. Okay, let's select another track, maybe this one. Make sure it's a good track. Now we've done that section already, so let's select that track there. Just first make sure that it's a good track before you use that one as your center point. Okay, so that's cool. Scrub through. Okay, here we go. Here's a little dot here that's going to appear. That one, this one that I'm circling now. And if you look at it, it's kind of jiggling around. It's not sitting as nicely as all the others around it. So delete it. Okay, let's select that one again to center our view. Okay, let's just see anything else. It's quite difficult to get used to this, but once you've done it a few times, you'll find it very easy. Okay, this one here, that one there, I don't think that's a nice one. See, it's kind of first on the truck and then it goes onto the gate, so I'm going to delete it. And now I'm just going to kind of scroll through. I'm going to center this, and I'm just going to scroll through and see what we have. You should be able to kind of visualize the whole scene in 3D with these dots. and that's all that we actually want to do. Okay, I'm going to assume this is a good track, or all these trackers are good. Usually I will spend a little bit more time on this, try and clean it up as perfectly as I can, because the better you're going to clean this up, the better your final 3D track will be. So I'm just going to assume that's fine. Alright, so the next step is we're going to tell PFTrack to try and solve this scene for us. So you're going to right click on your auto track, and we're going to click on camera solver and double click on that to make sure you're on it. And then the only thing you need to do here is you click on solve all. And this is just going to take all those dots, all the user tracks, all the auto tracks, and it's going to run it through some calculations and all these different kind of wonderful things. And it will try and figure out your scene in 3D and also the way your actual camera moved in real life. Alright, so our solve is completed, and if we scrub through this, we should see a whole lot of green dots. Anything red, that's usually not a good sign. That means that those trackers, they weren't very good in the auto track. So what you can do is you can go back to your auto track and you can delete them, and then we can resolve the camera solver. So I'm just going to unselect these paths. Let's go back to camera solver. So it's kind of this area, a lot of bad tracks going on there, and it's kind of difficult to see now, but I think it is in this area here. So I'm going to delete all those tracks. Let's go back to camera solver, and it's more in this area. It's strange because that one is not that bad. This one here. Alright, but that's fine. Usually you will need to spend more time cleaning up the auto tracks. So I'm just going to go back to camera solver, and because we deleted some tracks, I'm just going to hit on solve all again, and it's just going to run through all the new all the tracks without the tracks that we deleted. Right, so let's see. We should see less red dots. Still a few here, but for this tutorial I'm not really going to worry about that because it's actually looking quite nice. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to tell PFTrack how the scene is actually orientated. So we're going to orient our camera, or orient the scene. So you're going to right click on your camera solver node, and we will select orient scene. Double click on it to select it. And I find the easiest way to orient your scene, you've got some different ways to actually do that here by the edit mode. If you click the drop down, select axis, and we're going to do it with the axis. Right, first of all, disable your ground here just to hide it, and also the horizon, and we're going to untick X, Y, and Z, and we're going to start with the Z axis. That's the axis going in, so we're going to tell PFTrack this is our Z axis, and it's going to try and actually orient it using the X, Y, and Z axis. So click on Z, you're going to see these lines. We're going to zoom in here, just take one of these lines and try and align it manually onto your Z axis. Something like that. And another one, let's take this one here, maybe on that little line here, and try and be accurate. And there we go. Something like that, and that should align with all your Z-axis lines in your scene. And let's untick that, and let's tick X-axis, so it's this way, like horizontally kinda. I'm also gonna hide the trackers, so we don't need those. And your your X-axis will be on, just zoom in there a little bit, that'll be on this line. And also here at the bottom, so kind of from there to around here. Okay, and just try and line it up with a couple of things in your scene like that. That's kind of accurate. And now if we show ground again, it should be kind of flat on the ground, which is a good thing. And then what you want to do is you want to show your trackers as well, and you can select none there because it's orientated now. And then we're just gonna select a dot on the floor, like that little spot there. So I'm gonna go to marquee, select that dot, and I'm gonna click set origin. And it's basically gonna tell the floor that that is on the floor. So it will just put that right on there. We zoom out a bit, and if I hide my trackers, and if I scrub through here, you can see it's sitting nicely on the ground, which is looking actually quite good. Alright, another thing that we're going to do is enable your trackers again, and we're just going to set the scale of your scene. So if we zoom in here and we look at two dots, maybe click on marquee again, select those two dots, and try and guess the distance between them in meters. So let's say that's about a meter. Go to the bottom here where it says distance, and just type in that distance. Alright, just going to scale your scene accordingly to real world scale. Alright, what you can do now is you can click on the G plus just to increase that grid. Maybe not that big, something like that. And there we go. Okay, so we've got our ground, and it should look, if we disable our trackers and you scrub through this, it should actually stick to the actual ground. That's looking good. And just to visualize this a little bit better, I'm going to show you quickly how to create some test objects to place in your scene, just to verify that you've got a good track. So on your Orient scene, right click on there, and then we're going to click on test objects, double click on it to select it, and we're going to create a mushroom. So just click on mushroom here at the bottom, click on add to scene, and then make sure it's on place at selected feature, and just click on one of these dots, and it's going to place the mushroom. Let's just scale that up a bit. So select scale, scale it like that, and then just change this back to place at selected feature, and just click on the dot again to make sure that the base of the test object is actually on the floor. And then what you can do is you can click on duplicate, and then just click some of these dots. Let's put one right on there, scroll through here, duplicate maybe one there, and duplicate, there's one, another one here, and just place a few around the scene so you can actually visualize it. Duplicate maybe one there in the background, maybe one there. Alright, and if we hide the trackers, we hide the ground, we hide the horizon, and we just play through this, they should actually stick quite nicely to our scene. So if I play this back, you can see it looks like they're actually in the scene. Let's just undarken my footage, and that tells me that we've got quite a good track going on. And in the next tutorial, I will show you guys how to actually export your tracking data into a 3D program like 3ds Max, where you can actually start working on your objects that you will place into your scene and take it from there. Right, so I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Please like, share and subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you guys next time.